Hello all. So we are continuing our conversation in chapter 7. This is part 2, and we're talking more about fitness development. Here we go. In exercise physiology, we study how the body responds to different types of exercise, primarily aerobic and anaerobic. Now, ATP, or adenosine triphosphate, is the primary energy source for muscular activity. The body produces ATP through two main systems. This graphic gives us a better look at the energy systems that are used. You can see there's actually 3 systems versus just 2. Now the anaerobic system, as it says, is typically 60 to 60 seconds. So a short burst of high intensity movement. Examples would be sprinting, running, swimming and cycling, jumping or heavy lifting, or explosive sports movements like a basketball dunk or a football lineman's block. The system doesn't require oxygen, and it uses stored energy in the muscles, mainly from the ATP, PC, and glycolytic systems. Now, there again are 2 anaerobic systems, if you will. It's often referred to as fast glycolysis or anaerobic glycolysis. And it occurs when oxygen is limited or unavailable, and it's only needed for high intensity, short duration activities. What happens is glucose is broken down quickly in the cytoplasm and the pyruvate. I know we're getting into the weeds here, but instead of continuing to the mitochondria, pyruvate is converted into lactate. The process is fast but inefficient, and it produces only about 2 ATP per glucose, and it leads to lactic acid accumulation, contributing to muscle fatigue. Now, the combined system that it says here is called slow glycolysis. It's aerobic glycolysis. And so it's slower than fast glycolysis, but more efficient. And it's best for those moderate intensity, longer duration efforts. Oxygen is required, and so it starts in the cytoplasm just as the fast glycolysis does, and it continues into the mitochondria. Its fuel source is glucose, and the time frame is typically 1 to 3 minutes. It's more of your moderate length, high intensity efforts that combine both the anaerobic and aerobic systems, like your 400 and 800 meter races, or intermittent sports like soccer, basketball, or tennis, where there's some stop and start in between. And that overlap phase taps into the stored energy at first and then transitions to aerobic as oxygen demand increases. So it's really important that sports that they challenge those aerobic systems and train for them, as well as the anaerobic work as well. Now, slow glycolysis is fast but more efficient and sustainable than the fast glycolysis. Now, the aerobic system or oxidative system is typically more than 3 minutes, and oxygen is something that is required. It occurs in the mitochondria, and the fuel source is glucose, fats, and sometimes proteins, depending upon how long you go. Typically, it is from 3 minutes to, again, an hour or more, and it is slow, but it is sustainable for those lower to moderate intensity activities. So this would be like with long distance running, cycling, or swimming. And it's more extended duration sport activities like marathon running or a full soccer match. This system requires oxygen, and it uses carbohydrates and fats to produce a large amount of energy. It's efficient, but again, slow. And so the key takeaway here is each energy system plays a role in physical performance. Sprinters rely more on anaerobic energy, so it's important that they train that way. Mid-distance athletes depend on both, and endurance athletes need strong aerobic capacity. Knowing which system is dominant in your sport or activity can help you design smarter training programs. Now, we'll talk a little bit more here about the training principles. The principle of overload is really to improve health and fitness. The body must be challenged with a workload greater than it's accustomed to. So the idea is to increase the intensity, duration, or frequency of exercise to force the body to adapt and become stronger or more efficient. The principle of specificity is basically training adaptations are specific to the muscles or body parts that are involved, as well as the type of activity performed. So to improve a particular skill or muscle group, the exercise must target that specific area or movement. Principle of progression. Overload should be introduced gradually and increased steadily over time. This allows the body to adapt safely and effectively without injury or burnout. Now, the principle of diminishing returns. As an individual's fitness level improves, the rate of progress slows down, and gains become slower as one approaches their genetic or physiological limits of adaptability. And introducing variety in training helps maintain motivation and interest. Changing exercises, intensity, or routines prevents plateaus and promotes continued progress toward your goals. And just know the principle of reversibility. Fitness gains are lost when your training stops or activity levels drop. You have to use it or you lose it. Inactivity causes a gradual decline in strength, endurance, and your overall fitness. And the principle of individuality. Every person responds uniquely to exercise due to genetics, experience, and other factors. Rates of improvement in fitness outcomes will vary depending upon your individuals and their experiences. Principle of recovery is so important. Rest and recovery are essential for the body to repair and adapt to the stress of exercise. So adequate recovery helps prevent injury and supports ongoing progress. And the principle of safety. Exercising safely is crucial to preventing injury and ensuring long-term adherence to a fitness program. Proper technique, appropriate progression, and listening to the body are key components of safety. Gone are the days of having athletes throw up as part of their training program and encouraging that. Threshold of training is really looking at the minimal amount of exercise intensity or volume required to produce health and fitness benefits. Below that threshold, and little to no improvement occurs. So it's important to have an optimal range, a target zone, where you have upper limits of exercise intensity and duration that maximizes training benefits safely. Training within this zone helps improve performance and fitness effectively. And you want to base the program on the individual. Exercise programs should be tailored to the personal goals and fitness level and preferences of the individual for best results and adherence to their exercise program. Now, let's talk about the FIT formula. This stands for frequency, intensity, time, and type. Your frequency refers to how often you engage in physical activity or exercise sessions during a given time period, typically a week. For general health, most guidelines recommend 3 to 5 days per week, depending on the individual's goals and fitness level. Frequency affects how quickly you improve and how well your body adapts. Too few sessions may limit progress, while too many without adequate recovery may cause burnout or injury. For example, a beginner might start with 3 workouts per week, while an athlete could train daily or multiple times per day. Now, intensity. This indicates how hard you work during exercise, often measured by heart rate, perceived exertion, amount of weight lifted, or speed. Intensity determines the type of energy system your body uses and the specific adaptations you get. For example, low intensity for endurance and high intensity for strength or speed. Intensity can be monitored by tools like heart rate monitors, the talk tests, where you're being able to speak while exercising, or the rate of perceived exertion, or RPE scale, from 1 to 10. For example, walking at a casual pace is low intensity, while running or sprinting is high intensity. And time. It refers to the duration of each exercise session or activity. The length of time spent exercising can impact the type of benefit you gain. Longer sessions at moderate intensity improve endurance, while shorter, intense sessions improve your strength or power. Time can be total total minutes per session, or it can be broken down into intervals. For example, 30 minutes of continuous jogging, or 10 times 1 minute sprints with a rest. For example, a typical cardio workout might last 30 to 60 minutes, while strength training sessions may last only 45 to 90 minutes. And the type. Define the mode or kind of exercise you choose, which should align with your fitness goals and preferences. Different types target different components of fitness. So your aerobic exercises help improve your cardiovascular fitness, whereas anaerobic exercises are going to be more in alignment with sprinting, weightlifting to enhance your strength and power. And flexibility exercises for yoga to help improve your range of motion. And balance and coordination activities, so Tai Chi or agility drills, help support our functional fitness. So selecting the right type helps you and your client stay motivated and target specific fitness adaptations. Now, this is a plan that's designed to improve just overall health by focusing on the key areas of fitness. Stick to this guideline, listen to your body, and you'll be well on your way to a healthier you. For heart health or cardiorespiratory endurance, it's all about getting your heart pumping and improving your body's ability to use oxygen. How often should you do this? 3 to 5 days per week. Aim for moderate to vigorous intensity. You should be able to talk, but not necessarily sing. And this corresponds to about 55 to 90% of your maximum heart rate. How long you should do this is about 20 to 60 minutes per session. And any aerobic activity you enjoy. That could be running, swimming, cycling, or brisk walking. You also want to incorporate some strength and stamina, so some muscular fitness. And you want to build strong muscles to help with everything from carrying the groceries to preventing injuries. You should do this about 3 days per week. And for strength, you want to use high resistance activities that you can lift for about 1 to 8 repetitions. Bench press, squat, deadlift, those kinds of activities. For endurance, you use a lower resistance. So it's about 80 to 20 repetitions. So it's not as heavy, so that you're able to do more. And you should complete about 1 to 5 sets of each exercise. You want to focus on isotonic exercises like squats, push-ups, bicep curls, or using resistance bands. And you want to stay limber, so you got to work on that flexibility. Improving your flexibility reduces stiffness and increases your range of motion. You should do this really most days of the week. And just gently stretch a muscle beyond its normal length until you feel a slight pull or resistance. It shouldn't be painful. Hold the stretch initially for 5 to 10 seconds. As you become more flexible, build up to holding each stretch for 30 to 60 seconds. And use a mix of static stretches where you're holding a position and dynamic stretches where you're doing controlled movements through a range of motion. This could be something along the lines of a walking lunge and holding the motion and going through it very slowly. And you also want to make sure that you have some healthy habits to help with your body composition and your diet. So focus on what you are eating and how much you eat. As much as it's as important as your activity. So to lose weight, you have a few options. You eat fewer calories while maintaining your current activity level. Increase your physical activity while eating the same number of calories, or a combination of both. Moderately reduce your calories and increase your physical activity to maximize that. So make sure your diet's low in fat, and that helps to support your fitness goals and overall health. So in summary, exercise physiology explores how the body produces energy and adapts during physical activity. The body generates energy primarily through ATP using 2 systems. The anaerobic system, which provides quick bursts of energy without oxygen for short duration, and the aerobic system, which uses oxygen to supply energy for longer sustained activities. Fitness improvements rely on key training principles such as overload, challenging the body with increased workload to stimulate adaptation, and specificity, training focused on the muscles or skills targeted for improvement. Progression, which is gradually increasing exercise intensity or volume to continue gains, and variation, changing the workouts up to maintain interest and prevent plateaus. And recovery, allowing your body to rest and to heal and strengthen. And really important that when you are programming for others, that you recognize that people respond differently to exercise. And you always want to prioritize injury prevention and proper technique. So you do that by using the FIT formula, the frequency, intensity, time, and type. It guides the design of your exercise programs to tailor it to individual needs and goals. And together, these concepts help to enhance cardiovascular health, muscular strength, endurance, and overall well-being. And thank you for joining me today. I look forward to talking with you again. We'll continue our conversation in Chapter 7 and Part 2 and 3. Have a good day.